Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Rudo, AJ, Blais coming at you after... Yeah, no, that's more or less what I expected out of this hockey game.
Had a dramatic vote before the show started. Decided to do it anyway. we figured somebody who gets paid for Avalanche hockey actually ought to show up and do their job tonight. So we decided to.
We're here.
Yeah.
Can we start there? Can we start with
why
are the players
voting on whether to play or not?
Yeah, why is the league letting the players vote on stuff like this?
Yeah.
I have never heard in my entire life athletes, they're already at the game, they're in the building, so they're warmed up to go.
You're an athlete, right? You are a person who has made their whole life around competing. You have gotten on the airplane, you have traveled, you have slept in a shitty hotel room, although their hotel rooms are nice. You have slept in a hotel room. You have gone through morning skate. You have pregame napped. You have pregame mealed. You have gone through warm-ups. You are literally sitting there on the precipice of playing a game that you are going to have to play either now or later. At some point, the game is going to have to be played. They're not thinking about, oh, hey, maybe we should delay this and do it with the full lineup and actually give ourselves a competitive chance to have a meaningful night here. They're thinking, we've done all this bullshit. We've gotten to this point. Let's just play. Yeah. Let's just see how this goes. We're going to have to play the game anyway. Let's just do it.
I mean, it's the equivalent.
Of course, that's what they decided.
It's the equivalent of basically letting a guy that's gone into concussion protocol, let's say, right? And he's got a concussion and being like, I don't know.
Do you think you can go?
Do you want to play? Because you ask any hockey player, do you want to play hockey right now? They're going to say yes.
EJ has finished the shift in his career when he broke his leg. He finished the shift.
Like, of course they were going to say yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they're not sitting there looking at it and thinking, well, we've only got what ended up as, for part of the first period, is they had one goalie, 5D, and 10 forwards.
For most of the first, yeah.
Yeah, and so they're not sitting there doing that, and they're like, well, this is a division game, and maybe this game might actually matter in the standings later, and we should really do this when we actually have what we hope would be a full lineup, or at least like AHL call-ups where you can fill out a lineup.
You're not just short
and they're
people.
Not literally pulling guys out of warm-ups, being like, you had a positive test, you had a positive test, you over there, the one with the rosy cheeks, positive. Get out of here.
That's how.
What the flying fuck, dude?
How is there not someone in the front office that looked at this game and said, so now we have to play this game without arguably the best defenseman in the NHL, our starting goaltender, and arguably multiple top six forwards, depending on where you want to put Kuemper.
You're down your top pairing because Taves was
already in protocol.
Was already COVIDed. So Taves is gone. Now you lose Makar. You lose your starter. You have an e-bug in case anything else goes wrong, including a FRANKIE positive test mid-game. Right? You have no idea what's going to happen, and you choose to do this to yourself. You earned this. Yep. You deserve to lose.
Yep.
You make stupid decisions. You get consequences. That's just how this should work. When it was like they decided to do this, you earned this. Like, all the respect in the world. 1,000% respect in the world for saying, screw it, let's give it a chance.
And you got the result you would expect.
It's like going into a raid with 10 people instead of 14, but having him have 14-man health and just being like, let's just see how it goes, except there might actually be a meaningful consequence to losing the game. We don't know. We hope that it ultimately doesn't matter. It's not like that big of it's hard to be upset about it.
Right.
But it's like, this is the exact definition of play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
I mean,
you earned this. You voted for this. You voted to lose this game.
Yep.
You had to know, as a player sitting in the locker room, if you can't do that basic math, where you're sitting there and you're like, well, we have 12 games played combined. in the NHL. Or, I'm sorry. We will have had 12 games
After
combined
this
after
one.
this game.
Yeah.
In 2/5 of our defense. And
Well, and you know it's a nightmare. You're asking Eric Johnson to be your number 2, and you know that's going to be a disaster.
you're asking Sam Girard and Eric Johnson to be your top
Sam
pairing.
Girard played 30 minutes tonight. Like, what do you think's going to happen?
Like, and of course, like, again, competitors are not sitting in the locker room doing this.
Of course they're not, but someone on the team in the
2
front
minutes
office should
before the
be.
game. Like, maybe during warm-ups had all this shit happened and they taken the vote. Then they're sitting there all day like,
And
let's see here. And yes, I do keep looking at my hands because I just assume hockey players count with their fingers.
Oh my God!
And I'm just like, let's see here. This guy's out and this guy. Guys, maybe we shouldn't do this.
well, my question is, how did this even get to the team level? The NHL as a league is staring at this game, which before any of this, Nashville had 7 players out with COVID.
Right. And
And then you get them piling up on the Avs side, and no one thought, maybe we shouldn't play this game. Maybe we shouldn't even give them the option.
You ended up with, what was it, 12 players between both teams missed this game because of COVID.
Yep.
And the Avs, the only real difference is that the Avs were losing guys during warm-ups, so they didn't have a chance. They didn't have a chance to actually get a full lineup together.
Yep.
The Preds were able to, I believe, ice just a regular lineup. Not that it was any good, because it wasn't, but you have all in how many ways is this good for anybody? Like, you got the game played, okay? Cool. A bunch of yokels are happy that they got to go to a hockey game tonight on Broadway. Neat. But they didn't watch an NHL game.
Well,
They watched this hybrid game of shinny that nobody really cared about, because it's like, how do you take this seriously?
you can't. And my bigger problem is, yes, you got this game played, but as Chad has already mentioned, what happens tomorrow? You really think they're going to escape this with 0 more positive tests?
No,
What do we
it
call-
was 2 AHL teams. You can't act like the Avs were rolling out the big guns there.
The Avs were...
McKinnon and Rantanen, that's great. They had Philip Forsberg goes off too.
The Avs were genuinely playing 3 defensemen for most of the first period. Jordan Gross got 8 minutes of ice time tonight, and they were without Jack Johnson for half the first.
Right,
So
and you're talking about Jack Johnson was a PTO on the fringe of the NHL coming into this season. He is on the edge of the NHL.
Did you guys catch the graphic in the first period about all the people out on Nashville? The COVID's out?
Yeah.
It's insane.
Get ready
Nashville
to see
is
the
missing
Avalanche
look like that.
everybody,
Yeah.
dude.
Avalanche are going to look like that after the ride home.
This
as well.
isn't, the Avs didn't have a lineup. Oh, the Avs didn't have this guy or neither team did. The difference is that the Avs played with 10 forwards. 11 if we're going to be really generous and call Curtis McDermott a forward
The only
tonight.
position McDermott didn't play tonight was goalie. So
it was just stupid that the game happened.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be played. It was stupid that they let the Avs decide, because again, of course the guys who have gone through all that are going to be like, yeah, let's play.
yeah.
I would have bet my life on them deciding that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, I don't understand the decision making going on when it's okay, well, X number, Florida's missing 7 guys and they have to go out and play.
Yeah, they didn't get a vote to not play.
How are you supposed to be telling teams that the regular season matters and that the points and the games and all this stuff matters when you are from a competitive standpoint, just straight up being like, oh, hey, we're not icing full team. We're not allowing teams to ice full rosters.
Yep.
We're not allowing any kind of cap relief. You can't have this both ways.
Yeah.
If you're going to have this kind of level of COVID nonsense where you're going to test like this and have it so that guys are getting pulled out of warmups, then you have to bring back a taxi squad.
Yep.
You have to bring back a taxi squad. You have to basically just say, salary cap, never heard of her. You have to just do away with it. Make a decision.
Yep.
You have to either keep the cap in place and be willing to move games around when shit like this comes up, because it does come up, Or you have to give teams, I mean, you have to have guys like Martin Kaut and Shane Bowers and Jean-Luc Foudy and Jason Megna just sort of on standby, ready to rock in case something like this happens. Because if you'd had a taxi squad hanging out, you had those extra 5 guys. This is not, me personally, I don't care that they play the game today. It's why you have the taxi squad. It's why you have those rules in place. Instead, they are restricting teams, and the salary cap is in place for cap management problems. These aren't cap problems. Yep. This is not Vegas last year boxing itself into a little corner and having to play 15 guys. This is a COVID problem. You need to come up with some sort of a common sense middle ground here where you could, if you're going to continue to force games to be played, you're not going to move these games. You're just not. Then you need to have...
You can't have teams icing 16 skaters.
It's just, and it's not an isolated incident. It's
happening like crazy.
Games in the league this week alone where teams are just screwed.
And
it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, and you're seeing the nonsense. We talked about this a little bit on the pregame. The Avs have to sign someone like Callahan
Nico
Burke.
says in the postgame that there's no vote.
Interesting.
Okay. So now we have no idea. Either way, we can all agree the NHL, the adults in the goddamn room,
should have done something better.
Should have stepped in and said,
Absolutely.
This can't get played.
Yep, agreed.
This can't get played.
Agreed. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
I kept on thinking, like, yesterday they were going to cancel this game. You know what I mean? Like, I was just, going on, waiting
what's
for
happening
it.
with Nashville, and you're like, before today's chaos, you're like, dude, this is a competitive disadvantage the other way.
Right. Yeah. Nashville was screwed in this game if the Avs didn't get
the Avs are gonna
4
roll
COVID
in
tests today.
as the buzzsaw that they've been against against the Milwaukee Admirals. And it's just like, okay, this isn't going to be fun for anybody. This isn't competitive. This isn't fair. And then the Avs lose only impact players today. Not to be callous and be like,
of course.
You know, and be like, oh, well, Nicolas Auve-Coupel doesn't matter. But it's like, you know, like,
would you rather have the guy who has 5 goals in his last 3 games? Or
yeah, like you're talking about like the Avs like their defense, especially when no Makar gets pulled.
Yeah,
and like you look at where the Avs where they separate themselves as a great team.
It's the best defense in the league, offensively, certainly. Yeah,
the forward core more or less looked pretty similar tonight, but them driving the offense through their defense the way that they do. Jack Johnson, Eric Johnson, Jordan Gross, Justin Barron is second NHL
is
game.
Playing middle pairing minutes.
and then Curtis McDermott kind of back there.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about like you can't be who you are at that point.
Yep.
So, and again, if this was an injury thing, life is hard. But
totally.
This is a
but if it's an injury thing, you don't lose 4 dudes the day of the game.
Dude,
you don't lose. You slap 2 of them on LTIR.
These are straight up preseason rosters.
Yeah.
Like the mix between AHL and NHL guys. And like the backup goalie is starting. And like, I loved Frankie tonight.
Yeah, I thought he played well.
You have to keep in mind, one, Frankie had not played in an NHL game in a very long time, in an actual competitive game in a long time. Yep. He hasn't played healthy in an NHL game since March of whenever the world shut down, 2020.
Yeah.
And against the Rangers. The last time he was healthy in an NHL game. And you consider, like, he hasn't played in the NHL, and then he wasn't even supposed to start today.
Yep.
Big Clerks energy there, I understand. But, like, he was not supposed to start, which changes your routine.
Yep.
He finds out in the middle of warm-ups that he's getting the nod. Like, that changes things for you as a goaltender.
Your whole routine's off at that point.
And so I thought he did an admirable job. That's not a pun because their AHL team is the Admirals. It's just they are. That was a good job from Frankie. I legitimately
you can't ask for much more of this.
He gets scored on by Sam Girardi, just the most comical bad luck play.
2 power play goals off of penalties from a defenseman, which, by the way, the Avs defense as a whole took 4 penalties tonight on a night where they were regular ironing 4 defensemen, dude. What?
Yeah. Dude.
It was a nightmare. I don't know. I don't understand why this hockey game got played, but it did. We are brought to you all by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR to sign up for a new account. Go bet $1 on an NFL game. If a team scores a single point, either team, you get $100 in free bets. And then Don't bet him on an Avs game when 4 people get COVID literally 30 minutes before the game. It's risky. Well, I maybe do. Blais, you hit like half your bets tonight.
I actually, well, there was some voided, obviously, with the people going out.
Yeah.
I actually went 4 for 5.
Somebody tweeted at me and was like, I want my money back because all my parlays involved dudes that didn't play. And it was like, you'll get voided. Like, they basically can't take your money at that point.
Yeah. That's just theft. Which playing this game felt a little bit like theft of quality content.
It was a theft of joy and all that is good in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't fun to watch. The
Dude,
first
it
period
sucked.
lasted forever.
It was
Forever. Painful.
It was a garbage hockey game between two teams that had 2 preseason rosters.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was garbage, man.
So
Tonight sucks.
go over to DraftKings, bet on, I don't know, not nonsense hockey games. Use code DNVR. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And then hit up Green Mountain Dental Group, the best family dentist in the Denver metro area. You can get a cleaning, x-ray, and exam with them, and they'll give you a free Sonicare toothbrush. So be sure to get on that and take care of your teeth at home. They'll also take care of you when it comes to getting any dental work done. And right now, you still have time to get your DNVR gift boxes and get them under the tree for Christmas. If you order them by December 20th, they should get there in time. You get an annual DNVR membership. You get 2 DNVR shirts, and you get a $15 gift card to the DNVR Locker. So it's a great deal for anyone interested in Colorado sports. Consider sending them a DNVR gift box. All right. Second period of the DNVR.
You with this Neanderthal underneath.
DNVR Avalanche podcast. Let's talk a little bit about the things going on in this hockey game. Let's start with a positive. King of the game, Mikko Rantanen, the man who we could be playing hockey in the middle of the actual apocalypse, and Mikko Rantanen would sleepwalk his way to 2 points in a hockey game.
Yeah.
Like, the arena could be on fire. He will get 2 points. It's just what happens with Mikko. He just finds a way to be productive. I don't know how he does it.
I mean, does he find a way, or does the puck just find him?
Yeah,
Like that
that's what
goal
I
that he
feel.
got on the power play, like,
Frank,
it just goes off of, I don't even know who it was, but it went off their shin
a
guard
Kadri shot off of a shin guard, pinballs
straight to Mikko's stick.
like Mikko had a magnet. And
The cross ice pass that McKinnon has been trying to make for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Shin guard did it.
yeah, unreal how it happens. But he gets king of the game because, the Avs scored 2 goals, and Mikko was involved with both of them.
Yep.
Scored 1, made a beautiful pass to Val on the other.
Yeah. That was an awesome pass right in the crease there.
AJ's making concerning faces.
Sam Girard tonight. 13 Corsi for, 30 against.
In 30,
Wow.
in 5v5, it's probably like 25 minutes or
21,
something.
21.
Yeah, Jesus.
Nathan McKinnon, 8-4, 26 against. Most of the Avs guys tonight break even or just a little bit positive.
Yeah.
The ones who are deeply negative are Girard, EJ, McKinnon, Rantanen.
Huh. Not great.
Yeah, deeply negative. So you're talking about your only guys
Yep.
are the ones that got their head kicked in tonight.
Now, to be fair, I'm sure those dudes had 0 legs by the end of this game. They,
Yeah, I mean, at 5, we're talking just 5v5 here. Girard 21-21, EJ 19-34, McKinnon 17-37, Rantanen 15-19, and then you start to get into other guys.
the rest
after
of the
that
dudes,
Yeah.
yeah.
that are in the 14s and 13s.
Yeah. So,
So you're talking about a big gap, and those guys all got their head kicked in.
yep. Not a recipe for success.
Your top guys. But if you watch this game, you're like, okay, well, they still have Mikko, and they still have McKinnon, but you also were watching those guys. They played like shit.
Yep.
They weren't good.
Yep.
Their only danger really came via power play. And even then, you're watching that power play, and you're just like, I wish we could just, 5-second chunks and
Yep.
just break it down and be like, What's happening here? What's happening here? What's your goal here? What are you trying to create here? Because
the answer is going to be nothing a lot of the time, unfortunately, for the Avs.
Should be trying to answer the constant question of what's dangerous.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's trying to create dangerous chances, and it's just not, dude. There's nothing happening there. Like they're just chilling. Like it scores a goal tonight, great. Like you love that part of it, but when you're watching it, you're just like, what are these guys doing?
Again, their most dangerous chance on the power play was firing a shot into a dude's shin, and that kicked over to Mikko.
Yeah, and I mean, like Rantanen finding Nichushkin on that, through the pass, like that's insane pass.
That power play had just expired.
Yeah, and that's an insane pass. And that's all. Like that's awesome. But you're watching it, and you want to talk about like Nathan MacKinnon. You're like, look, Nathan MacKinnon. He's finishing with shots on goal, and he's got the puck all the time, and he's around, and he's doing this, and blah blah. But you're watching him; he's taking himself out of dangerous situations all the time.
Yep.
Now he's still playing pretty good overall hockey because his defense has picked up a little bit. He was actually okay in faceoffs tonight for once, and you're watching him like his assists are no joke. Like he's not bullshitting his way to 1 or 2 assists every single game. Like, come on. He's not. When you watch where he's shooting from, like, they ended up getting a goal. Their second goal results out of a scramble because he just said, screw it, and threw a puck on net that created chaos. And it ended up in a goal where you're like, hey, man, like, you should learn something from this.
It's not just a MacKinnon problem either. It was a team-wide problem tonight.
Yeah, and like, team-wide, there were a lot of things. But talking about your best player needing to be your best player on this night of all nights, like, what's the big difference? Like, Philip Forsberg kicked ass tonight.
Yep.
That dude showed up, and he played, he whipped out, swung it around a little bit.
Now,
showed off with it. He played with it, he fucking mushroom topped it, like, it was a carnival of chaos from that guy.
Well,
but MacKinnon, it was way too quiet of a night.
I don't disagree with you, but also, if you give Nathan MacKinnon some shifts against Jordan Gross, it might look pretty good. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the point is just that they're just not. It just isn't good enough at even strength from these guys too consistently, and you're just. I don't know what to do. I don't know what Nathan MacKinnon needs to do differently, like internally to kind of get back to the guy that's walking in, and because we're watching him just pass up.
He's deferring a lot as well.
Yep.
If you watch how he's getting defended on the PK now, they're giving him a shooting.
They're telling him to shoot it.
Yeah. They're defending him out high because they know he's going to pass it back to the point or he's going to throw it down the wall.
They genuinely run a double team where they take away the high pass and they take away the seam pass.
Yeah.
And they'll give them down the wall sometimes.
No Royal Road and no like freebie back to Makar, or tonight, in this case, tonight it was Gerard.
Yeah.
The bumper play has got to go, though, either because they're not creating any separation for that shot to get off.
I'm fine with the bumper play existing as a change of pace, but right now it's the play.
Yeah, that's all they're doing, and they're reading it. They're not getting shots off whatsoever.
Well, look at... Chat's going to get mad at me.
I just want him to be a little better.
But you can't rely on the bumper play when your bumper guy is Val Nichushkin. You cannot expect him to consistently put pucks into the net for you from that spot. Val has done a great job scoring from in close this year.
Yeah.
But from the bumper spot, it's just you're not being realistic.
Yeah.
So, and look.
It hasn't, but I too can just say things.
Okay. Let's talk about the defense a little bit more in depth here. Obviously, you're stuck in a game where pretty much every defenseman on the team is playing well over their head.
Yeah, I'm like somebody in here is like Sam Girard is off tonight. Well, Sam Girard is not a number one defenseman in the NHL.
Yep.
We've talked. He is a high-end complimentary guy. He is like when people talk about like a number, like he's a number 2 or he's a number 3 or whatever. Like he's about the best number 3 that you're going to get.
He's the number 3 every team wants to be their number 3.
Exactly. Yeah. Like he is. He can be a number 2 if you have a pretty good defense. But like we've seen, he's not quite good enough on a consistent enough basis to really be a 2. Yeah. But as a 3, he's great. Tonight he's your 1. He just can't.
And your 2 is Eric Johnson.
He just can't. And Eric Johnson, we've talked about this. Eric Johnson, at this point
He's
in
a
his
5
career,
at best.
At this point in his career, he's really just a 6.
Yeah.
And Jack Johnson, just a 6.
Yep.
You know, like that's. And then you get below that. Like Justin Barron is just a kid. He's just a baby.
His second ever NHL game.
And I said just a few days ago, Jordan Gross, just a bad Sam Girard.
And look at arguably the plays that cost goals. Justin Barron, who shoots a puck 17 feet wide from a tough angle, clears it on himself and gives up a 3-on-1 with Sam Girard as the only guy back.
Yeah, yep. Which might have gotten away with it had they not gotten the
tough bounce off of Girard.
Also, McKinnon dropped that pass when he could have skated that in and maybe taken that shot as well, because he did have room to go in and actually shoot that puck.
They had a number of options, and the absolute worst one that they had is the one that ended up playing out, where it's like Barron's just had I haven't done this in the NHL, so I haven't made this mistake yet, but that is like the number, and as it was happening, I was like freaking out, right? Because that's what I do. But I was just like, dude, that's the one thing you can't do.
Yeah.
Because you didn't put it on goal. At worst, you throw that thing on net, you make him make a save, and he eats it, and you go to a face-off.
Yep.
Maybe you beat him. If you get it on net, maybe you beat him. Maybe you get a rebound. Maybe you get a pass off the. Maybe whatever happens. Maybe they get a bounce like they did, where it goes off of their own guy and goes in. Whatever. When you go high and wide and it just rims around out of the zone, and you're the defender, and you've watched 3 guys, you have to be able to count on the fly.
Coach Blais's big brain play is actually the play here. He always tells his kids to shoot it higher when they miss.
Yeah, well, that's what I scream at them all the time.
If you shoot it high enough, it goes into the netting, and it's not a fast break the other way.
And plus, it looks really cool when you raise the puck.
You know it's looking fine when it goes over the crossbar. That means you got skill. Yeah.
I mean, you try to tell kids, like, do you know how many goals are scored on the ice? More goals are scored on the ice than in the air. But it definitely looks cooler when you raise the puck.
Okay. The other side of this, you have a set of 3 penalties taken in very short succession by Colorado. EJ, Sam Girard.
That's the best part. Yeah. The 5-on-3 without Girard and EJ, where you're just like, this is the easiest goal that the Nashville Predators should ever have, ever. And they don't score.
And it looked awful. Yeah. It didn't even look good.
It got done. The Avs killed that off. And I was like, I don't ever want to hear about the Avs power play again. I never want to hear about how bad it is again.
But then they also
we just watched.
They also had a really nice power play goal as well.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
and after doing that, and so your 3 defensemen that weren't in the penalty box are exhausted, and then Jordan Gross takes another penalty, and that's the one they score on.
Bender says there was a vote from the players. Miko says there wasn't. Whatever. The point is that an adult should have said no.
Yes. Yeah. Someone should have said this is not a good idea.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that 5-on-3 that they killed was like the unlikeliest of unlikely.
They didn't even like Jack Johnson and Curtis McDermott are just standing there like, okay, are they gonna shoot?
Jack Johnson trying to wind up for that one time. And his stick just shattering like it wasn't designed to touch a puck. Like it touched a puck and it was like, I'm allergic to this. It just snapped.
So I guess
a good laugh.
So there wasn't like an official vote. It was just Ben and I was like, hey, you guys want to play? And they were like, yeah, let's play.
Jesus, this is even worse.
Somehow they found a way to go deeper. The hole gets dug.
I was hoping that it was a Survivor-style tribal council where they bring like the top like 5 leaders in, and they're just like, and Bednar's like walking around with the room with like a torch, and he's just like, Nate, do you want to play tonight? And of course he's like, let's go, baby.
So we have 4 yeses and 3 nos. It all comes down to Rantanen. You voted yes.
And then there's a commercial break.
And by the way, like, if they had like asked Nashville if they wanted to play yesterday, do you think they would have said yes?
No.
I think maybe today, after the COVID got announced, Nashville will be like, all right, we'll give it a go. But yesterday, they'd have been like, hell no.
Yeah, I think they would have been like, let's postpone it.
Yeah.
I was listening to one of their podcasts, and they were definitely like, we don't understand why this game is being played right now.
I don't understand how so many of the games around the league are getting played.
Yeah.
And then the Flames are just getting like...
Days off.
Like they just, 2 more games are postponed. And then I'm like, all right, I assume something's up with the Canadian border. That's the only thing that I can surmise at this point. But other than that, feels awfully arbitrary to draw the line at 8 guys when you've got multiple teams at 7. So, whatever.
Okay.
And
they played it. They lost it. It's done. It's over with.
Yep.
I found it really telling that McKinnon talked about this the other day when asked about COVID cancellations and pauses, and he said, let's just get on with it. He said, I don't know when they're going to have time to do this. And then he said, we're already playing 30 in 55. So they know.
Yeah, but now you're playing 30 in 55 with 16 skaters.
Yeah, and
we'll see after
there's
tomorrow.
no guarantee for Saturday.
You're right. I when we wake up tomorrow and there's multiple new Avs on the COVID list, you can't continue playing.
Well, there's got to be traveling in a plane, being in a hotel room.
You took warm-ups with 2 guys that got tested positive.
Like all of those factors, there's going to be more positives.
Well, and it's like, look, it's a testament to the vaccine that one of these guys so far is symptomatic.
Yeah. And everything I've seen shows the vaccine works great against the Omicron variant, and that's awesome.
It's just that this particular variant spreads like wildfire.
Yep.
Its severity is lower. The whole spike will probably be lower. It'll be faster. As I get to parrot all the things that my wonderful fiance tells me every morning. But as of now, like, this is happening. Like, if that's the case that it spreads like that,
it's already there. It's already spread.
Like, just shut it down until Christmas.
Yep.
That's next Saturday. It's not
1 week.
A month.
1 week.
You're talking about just shut it down. You're probably not going to the Olympics. You're probably going to be able to look. I'm going full seal here, but like, are they going to have a problem with finding dates in February with arenas that have started planning other things with the Olympics supposedly on the books? Somewhat, but if you just shut down a week, like, just shut it down for a week and let it chill.
You got to make up 2 or 3 games over that 3-week break.
And it's like, at this point, dude, like, you really just gonna let this continue?
I don't know how you can.
The thing is,
I genuinely don't know how you can.
Shut it all down, then that sets that precedent too, right? Because then what happens if you come back and 3 weeks into it, everything's out of control again? You're not going to the Olympics. Then you got to shut it down again? Like, what do you do?
I mean, do you have to shut everything down, or you just need to shut the teams that have 7 freaking players testing positive down?
Well, it's spreading so quickly. Like, look, the Florida Avs game gets played the next day.
And now they're both
Devon
screwed.
Taves and what's-his-face Lundberg.
Yep. And now Florida's got 6 other guys on COVID now, too.
Teams, they had a combined, there were 7 guys from Florida and 5 guys from Colorado tonight. So you're talking, it spread in that game, clearly. It spread. So I don't know what to do. Just do it through Christmas. Christmas is next Saturday. It's Thursday night. Just give them 8 days. Just give the league 8 days to kind of reset and get everything as under control as they possibly can.
I joked about it after the Taves positive COVID announcement, but genuinely, if they don't shut it down, they're going to have multiple hundred players on the COVID positive list. Like, the shit rolls downhill. Yep. They're already at what with today they have to be pushing like 50 players on the COVID list.
The NFL is even worse.
Yeah, NFL is over 100 now, aren't they? Like, the wave
Browns,
is here.
The Browns have 20 guys.
Yeah,
on their
and they're
list.
gonna make them play. It's insane.
I don't know. Like, this isn't. I know that somebody recently said that we were too political on our show, which is an incredibly funny comment. But like, this is basically just like, look, dude, you've got a thing going on here. You can't just ignore this. You have to make a decision. Again, if you're going to force games to be played, you have to change your salary cap rules.
Yep. That's just you need a taxi squad.
And
like,
you need your NHLPA to agree to this.
Or at very least, it needs to be organized in a way that you're not pulling dudes 15 minutes before hockey games and can't replace them.
This can't happen where you have guys getting pulled out of warm-ups.
Yeah.
This can't happen. That's one where I'm just like, it feels like I don't even know that I want to go down this road.
Okay.
Mostly, I'm just saying you can't keep pulling guys from warm-ups and having teams play with 16, 17 guys. It's insane.
All right. If you're trying to get your junk out of warm-ups and into the real thing, hit up Manscaped. Go get your code DNVR for 20% off with the Perfect Package 4.0. It's not quite as good as a vaccine, but, it'll work. It'll do the job if you're trying to mushroom top people like AJ was talking about earlier. You can get the tools for whatever job you need. You can get trimmers, you can get deodorant, you can get shampoo, you can get whatever. It'll take care of all of the hair on your body however you need to do it. I know, they just keep going, huh? Go get Manscaped. Hit them up. Great products. Great company. We love all of their stuff. Then you can hit up Chevalier Mortgage, both Mike and Virginia. Been in the business for a very long time here in Colorado. Right now, you can still sell your home for like an obscene amount of money on the market. So, if you want to do that, go for it. If you're looking for a home, get them because they'll help you navigate this crazy waters. Mike, a certified financial planner, can help you find the right home loan for you, not just, craziness that doesn't fit with your financial picture. And even if you already own a home, if you have mortgage insurance, you can use that to make this bubble work for you when it comes to, refinancing or maybe taking out a second mortgage. I don't actually know the details because I just let Mike and Virginia do all that. I don't need to know all the fancy stuff. So hit up Mike and Virginia. You can go to DNVR Mortgage to get more info from them and your chance to win some free DNVR merch. Again, that's DNVR Mortgage, or you can call Virginia at a number that I can never remember, so I always have to look it up. You can call Virginia directly at... Oh, God, that's not the right read. There we go. 303-257-6578. Go check him out. Michael Chevalier, NMLS 1931006. Virginia Chevalier, NMLS 1910631. We also have a new partner to announce. I was told the way to pitch this was buy an ounce, get a quad free right now at... Lightshade. Use code DNVR25. You can get 25% off your order from Lightshade right now.
Yep.
So go get yourself a great deal. You can check out Lightshade. They're a great place. Actually, I don't smoke a lot of weed, and one of the few places I've actually purchased weed from is Lightshade. So
yeah. Even
for a rookie like me, they got the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean they've got that store figured out. It's a very nice experience going in there.
Yeah.
So.
It does. I don't know if this is the right word, but it does feel kind of like a boutique almost for weed. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So everyone here just loves Lightshade. I don't know why we didn't partner with them earlier. Again, 25% off. It's a huge discount on their in-store stuff. You can shop online and visit a Lightshade location near you to get it picked up.
We need a Stephen A. Smith. The way that he says weed. Have you guys ever heard him say it?
No.
He always says it. There actually is like a YouTube compilation of all the times him saying weed. Because he goes, weed! And every time somebody has one of our comments like vaguely sobers weed, that's just what I hear in my head.
So he really enunciates the D at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Weed! It's incredibly funny.
All right, I guess the code's just DNVR, by the way, not 25. DNVR flat will get you 25% off at Lightshade. And again, you can get yourself a DNVR annual membership right now. We'll keep you up to date on all of the Avs nonsense, whatever the positive tests are or otherwise. You can also be sure to check out everything Megan Angley is doing with the Eagles.
Her Justin Barron piece was like
so on point. Yeah. Yeah.
I was mad. I was like, all right. Just going to fall into this, huh? And just do everything at a really high level right away. P.S. Look for her on the pod.
Yeah, she should be coming on soon.
Coming on pretty soon.
For a little prospecty thingy majig.
And to do some post games for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, if there are games.
Yeah, well. They're gonna be games.
Apparently.
You leave it to the boys in charge. They're going to be all
The boys in charge. The players.
All the guys, all the quotes coming out of Colorado tonight just make you just go, okay, you guys are all idiots. It's fine. You guys are all hockey players. Like, this is what you guys do. It's fine. You aren't worried about this anymore. You don't care about it. You just want to play your games. Got it? It's totally okay.
Third period of the
If you go to
DNVR.
Disneyland and you take all that whole trip there, and you get there and it's raining, and the parents go, "Look, kids, do you want to go?" What are the kid's gonna say?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
So my parents did this when I was a kid, and I said no. True story. My mom loves
You just
this
ruined my
story.
whole
My mom loves this story, but it's so funny because I said no, and I've regretted it my whole life. Now I don't remember any of that trip because I was too young, so it doesn't matter.
Now we know why you didn't make it, AJ.
Yeah, this is why I've been trying to make up for it with all the Hallmark movies ever since. I lost out on the Disney love as a child.
All these movies are just say yes.
Yeah.
AJ's having a deep revelation right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who needed therapy when I could just talk my way through my problems on a podcast?
Live to hundreds of people every single day.
So much money wasted.
You could have been making money for this the whole time.
Yeah.
Third period.
I do just really, it's really important that I say this because I see some people in the comments being like, you just got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. Look, I am an immunocompromised individual. I have had cancer in my life. My immune system is not great through no fault of my own. Not that I am a pinnacle of incredible health and take great care of myself. I get it. Ha ha ha. But I have worked really fucking hard to not get COVID. And the last thing that I want is everybody just saying, fuck it, and throwing Hail Marys with my health as I try and make as many good decisions as I can, as I try and limit the interactions and put the restraints on my life that put me in a situation to not get this best as I possibly can. And if everybody just starts throwing the Hail Mary and saying, screw all of this, this is just part of life now, and I end up dying from it, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to haunt all of you motherfuckers in chat
and it's
for the rest of existence, and you are badly going to regret having a bad opinion right now.
And you have to look at this.
Just care about other people, okay, fam? Just care about other people.
If we accept that sports and traveling for sports is something that's going to happen, which right now it is, you have to understand when a bunch of hockey players are testing positive for COVID, they took a plane to get to where they got.
Yep.
They stayed in a hotel where they are. So it's not like it's
they walk
just
through an arena full of workers who all have families and children, and their web just goes like this and this and this and
right.
this and this and this and this. It is just not isolated.
It's not like it's contained to the teams and the hockey players only. And there's probably an argument to be had that they shouldn't be playing sports at all, but we're not going to get into that on this show. But yeah, it's just, I'm not on the side of just let everybody get COVID and deal with the outcomes, because I don't think that's a good solution. But I don't know. I don't know.
The antibody conversation is wild because there are people who get it multiple times.
Yep.
And how many times has MPJ had that shit? And so I don't want to get up on a high horse and argue about science and go to imright.com to prove my point to you. All I'm saying is just dare to care about other people. Dare to care that your decisions could have an impact on somebody else, and it's not always about you. That's all I'm asking for. And we can talk about the rest of the game.
Yep. I mean, there's not a ton else to talk about.
Loved Frankie.
Frankie was great.
I genuinely, with 8 minutes to go in this game, it's a 3-2
Yeah,
hockey
he kept
game.
it a game.
The team didn't play great, but you're talking about an AHL defense. If you iced this defense every single night and add a guy, add Jacob McDonald, okay? Don't add a Cale
Six
Makar.
skaters at least.
Don't add Cale Makar. Don't add Devon Taves. Don't add an elite player, okay? Just add a guy.
Yep.
Just add Jacob McDonald.
Brian Murray, if you really want.
How many games does that team does a team win with that defense?
Not many.
In the NHL?
Yes, in the NHL. Great question.
I want to make sure we're all
in the NHL.
Yeah, okay.
How many
I mean,
are you talking about a 65 point team?
Yeah,
Maybe?
I would say less.
like 60, 55.
I'll expand. That defense with Pavel Francouz in net.
Yeah, you're not winning a lot of games.
How many are you a 65-point team? Are you better than the Coyotes? Yes. Come on. With that forward core?
I mean,
yes.
you'll outscore your problems
Yes.
some, yeah. But
how much better? Are you better than the Sens?
You're certainly a bottom 5 team in the
Not
league,
right now.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's and they kept it competitive, right?
Yep.
You can take that to heart.
Yeah.
It's a moral victory. It's not a real one. I understand. They've also won 5 in a row. So it's not like this is
It's
a huge problem.
4-1-1 in this stretch of 10 now.
Yeah,
right?
and
So-
it's just this is a crazy game.
or is it 5-1-1? I forget. Anyway.
Yeah.
Right. You look at this film of this game, and always there are things to work on, but you go, well, Jordan Gross took 2 terrible penalties, and we can't send him down because we have no other defenseman. So you're just kind of living with a lot of things that happened in this game because they decided to play it.
Yeah.
Like,
Look, you'll also get a good Jordan Gross night, right? Where
sure.
you throw him on a power play unit
and he scores
or something,
3 points that night
you
or
see him,
whatever.
He'll snag an assist for you. He'll make a nice outlet pass. Jordan Gross isn't without talent. He's just not an NHL player.
And
we
the
just saw it
defensive
tonight.
side of the puck is brutal. Like, it just
he's
is
not
what
a
it
good
is.
AHL defender, and then you throw him in the NHL, even against the compromised lineup that the Preds threw out.
Yeah, it's not great.
The other thing that I kind of want to touch on here, Nicolas Aube-Kubel, we've kind of all been fine with it, but I'm telling you, man,
The penalties are piling up. And
it's too consistent, and the one like tonight, like we've seen some sketchy ones, but the one tonight,
that was
an
a
obvious
clear penalty.
It's a lazy penalty.
And it's in the offensive
It's in the
fucking
offensive
zone.
175 feet away from
And
our goalie.
you're talking
yeah.
minutes into a third period where you're down 3-1. You need every minute imaginable to climb back into this game and make it a game.
Yep.
And he puts them behind the 8 ball immediately.
Yeah.
And look, it's yes, he does need to stop taking penalties. It's easy to say, but when you look at his entire body of work in the NHL now, look, his scoring, his pros and cons have kind of
Balanced a bit.
they've
yeah.
gone all over the place in throughout his career. The one consistent thing that he has always done is take penalties. And I think if the Avs were to start to ever get healthy, I know it's funny to say, but at forward, I think there needs to start being a serious Nicolas Aube-Kubel conversation when they get a little closer to health.
Sure.
Martin Kaut has scored in 4 games in a row.
That's
You've got
exactly the conversation. Is what is Kubel giving you that Kaut can't?
Shane Bowers is now healthy again,
and
so
scored
he
in his game back.
He can
Yeah.
at least be part
And
of
that
the
was a snipe, too.
conversation
Yeah.
again.
Yep.
So you've got a couple of guys there where you start to want to find out, what do we have in these guys? Sample Ranta is still down there.
Yep.
Aube-Kubel, things have gone well so far, and I'm not saying that he needs to be out of lineup this week or anything like that. Just that I think that we need to start keeping an eye on this a little more closely, because if they get a little closer to health, I think that there needs to be a real conversation about
How to best optimize that spot.
what's working here, because when he's scoring every other game, you're fine with the penalties.
Well, you're fine with penalties that are good penalties as well.
Well,
like tonight's was just absurd.
You're fine with a penalty where he's being physical, he's making a good play, he's in a neutral zone or a defensive zone, maybe a desperation play or something, like there are some penalties that you can just live with, right? Like that you're just cool
But
with.
he takes a lot of ones
But
you
he
don't
takes,
like.
He
Yeah.
takes some seriously ones where you're just like, because tonight my problem was I'm asking him, so what's the upside here? What's the upside? What are you trying to get out of this? If you wrap that guy around and they don't call it and he still moves the puck away from it, what are you getting out of it?
Yeah.
There's no benefit there. You haven't done anything, and you took that chance for nothing.
Well, at the current rate, it might not matter because the Avs will have no cap room to bring anyone up. But
They don't anyway.
You can make things work a little bit better when you don't have 6 players out of your lineup that still count against your cap.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
you can't put any of these guys on LTIR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if these guys are, we're talking these 5 guys, Copy, paced for Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah, what's Calvert up to? Does he want to sign a 10-day? Can we get an NBA, 10-day contract every year? It's crazy to me that there doesn't seem to be any, reasonable plan. Tonight is whatever. We're all ready to bin tonight.
Yeah,
This
throw
was
it away.
stupid.
But
this is exactly like the St. Louis Blues game earlier this year that they lost by where they had that crazy comeback and Joe
and it was a goal short. Yeah.
And you're just like, whatever. You played that game with 16 guys and Stefan Matteau got hurt 4 minutes in.
But the problem is the Avs are realistically looking down at least 10 days, if not 2 weeks, of a bunch of these dudes staying on the COVID list.
Yep.
And
your starting goalie,
it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do Saturday? We don't know what are these guys out of protocol? Are they how many more guys there need to be? Do you really need to draw the line at 8 guys? 7 isn't enough to give you a competitive disadvantage to shut your shit down?
Oh, there's going to be more. There's no doubt about it by the time they get back tomorrow. There's people.
There's no way that there's not more.
Yeah.
I don't, barring some insane luck. Again, you're in a plane with all these dudes that tested positive. The easiest, most recycled air you can possibly get. And then you're taking warm-ups with them. You're in the locker room with them.
You're on a bus?
You're on a bus with them. I don't know. We gotta finish the show.
I should do a better job of taking video when I'm on the road so people get a better idea of the confines that
of how tight it is. Yeah,
spend their times.
Well, just think about morning practice when guys are talking to each other. They're coming up.
They're literally shoulder to shoulder.
I mean, it's this.
Yeah.
But
closer
it's all the time.
Yeah.
And there's 26
and you're breathing
of
heavy.
them.
You're not just sitting on a couch.
Right.
And then they go and run their bodies into teams that aren't their own.
Yeah.
And what do you do?
It's going to be interesting for the next few weeks here.
Yeah, look, whatever happens tomorrow with the COVID stuff, you can find it from us. And
it sets up perfectly for another watch along to be a total waste.
Yeah, or we're watching the Colorado Eagles versus Syracuse, right?
Sort of the Syracuse crunch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, we're going to get out of here for the night. This game was nonsense. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. We appreciate all of you a ton. We will be live tomorrow at 1 o'clock with some kind of show. Maybe it's talking about the entire league having COVID. Maybe it's just a fun Friday show.
FY, it's Rudo's birthday as well.
It is. P.S. Hi, Dad. I saw you earlier. Okay. We love you. We'll talk to you later.